Starting take two in 3, 2, 1, go! Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome to Take Two, right here on the one and only Voices on the Net Network. Appreciate having all of you taking the time out of your schedules to join myself and Ronnie. Hey, how are you, Ronnie, over there?
I'm great.
Yeah. Oh man, you know, we're now in the, I guess you can consider it us in the core of that final five before the 300th episode show. We're gonna have you make it official as we do continue the countdown to the 300th episode of this program. This is not, of course, the 300th show, but we're going to, of course, find out what the episode is in just a moment. And quite a bit on the itinerary. That is right. This is the episode where we feature Ronnie's movie report. Of course, I don't know that yet until Ronnie makes it official. But, yeah, I know it's a confusing propaganda, but yeah. But, yeah, welcome once again to the program. Let's plug the network, then we'll get to Ronnie making it official. If all of you tuned in right now would be so kind as the great listeners, please visit www.vonthenet.com. That's right, the Voices on the Net Network's website, where you will be able to find more information regarding the Voices on the Net Network. Yeah, in order to check the information out, all you need to do is go up to the top of the website, where you will see the About link. You click it, and it will take you to a web page providing you everything you need to know pertaining to this Voices on the Net Network here, the Voices on the Net Network here. You could also check out podcasts of any of the episodes from any of the shows, and they're also on demand for and at your very own convenience, and you can check everything out by going to www.vonthenet.com. All right, Ronnie, you know what? It's another show. We're here yet again. I tell you, I'm telling you, it's starting to become difficult to find things to say. I say the same things at the beginning of every show. We do so many of them. It's like, well, I got to come up with new things to say. It's like I listen to every show, and it's the same jargon. Welcome to Take Two. Welcome to Take Two. I know it's a welcome, but it's like I want something different. I'm the host here, and I want something different. But
300 ways.
It's crazy, but we are here yet again, and you have a little something for us over there. So why don't you do your part, make it official as we rip yet another sheet of paper off of that countdown calendar.
Yeah, I have a little something. We are at episode 296.
Ronnie said it. That's right, episode number 296. 4 away from the next major milestone. Still a surreal experience, of course. You all know that, but we are glad to be here. We have a great program for you, a great itinerary set for you, and yeah, that's right. This is an episode where we feature Ronnie's movie report. Ronnie checks out a movie in the theater, and reviews it. That's right. At the end of every week, every Friday. So we'll look forward to that during the second segment. Ronnie, get this. You know, you talked about this just last episode, and we get to talk about it again on this show here, this 296th episode of the show, regarding the Mexican citizen that Obama stated, we're going to stay his execution. We're going to put it off because we don't want any problems from anyone else around the world. Well, Texas went against President Obama's wishes here, and, they killed the guy. And you know what I say? I say, good for them. That's what I say to that. I say good for them. What's up?
They didn't succumb to the bullyism that was going on.
And we know how Texas is. They feel that they're their own country. They really do.
Yeah.
They're very independent and a very Republican state. And they listen. This was something that had to be done. Thinking about conflicts with other areas around the world. Come on. if somebody's a criminal, regardless of whether they're Mexican, whether they're French, whether they're American, if they've done something as bad as this individual, his name is Humberto Garcia Leal, yeah, you deserve to die. First off, people think that if he were to spend time in prison, if he were to spend time in jail, he would suffer. No, he wouldn't. Come on now. He wouldn't suffer. He would get his exercise. We'd feed him medical attention. He'd speak to his family whenever. No, he would not suffer. He needed to die because the girl that he killed is what? Dead. So he dies, and that's the way it is, which he did.
That's right. No one. I didn't see anybody fighting for her life. I don't see anyone taking anything into consideration that she is the victim here,
right?
Not Roberto. I mean, what kills me is this.
Roberto.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter, Ron. He's a scumbag anyway. You can call him whatever you want. Let's call him scumbag.
There you go. That's scumbag.
Yeah, that's all you got to say.
Actually, how many people have we put to death in this country? People think that we are killing people. Absolutely not, because they murdered somebody they took somebody else's life. When you instill a sentence of death, when that jury comes down and states that they believe the evidence that they heard meets the qualifications of a death penalty, that is a sentence, not murder. You're not the state's not out there murdering people. They're out there carrying out a sentence that person, this criminal, committed. What kills me the most is that how many people have we put to death in this country?
Right.
That did not cause an international scene. And all of a sudden, one president said, you know what, if we do this, it could cause international problems. Wrong. And for them to even consider, he can't have it both ways, President Obama. He can't sit there and say, you know what, if you're illegally here, I'm going to protect you. And that if you and I, which would never happen, would be on death row, would President Obama would have stood up for anybody else that's on death row right now and say, you know what, we can't do that because it could cause some problems? No. Now, all of a sudden, he's sitting up at open doors stating that, listen, you can't do it because he was illegally here and he didn't get a hold of his consulate. Well, you know what? He was not. He was here since the age of 2. His lawyers didn't decide to cause a stink and all of a sudden bring this out until it comes right down to the bottom of the wire where there was no more appeals left. Even the United States Supreme Court did not agree with them. And even if I just said the United States Supreme Court did agree with them, how would Texas follow through with it when, in fact, it's already grandfathered in because they made a new law? The law was not in effect when the sentence was carried out.
I mean, this guy was convicted of first-degree murder and rape of a poor little girl back in 1994. It's now 2011. It's 2011. I think he lived on this earth longer than I think he thought he would live on this earth for. And his time should have been over way before. Listen, I'm not trying to sound asinine here saying, let's kill this one, let's kill that one. But this guy deserved to die. I mean, why doesn't somebody deserve to die if they commit a crime such as this guy? I want to understand, and there are people that are actually standing up for this guy. The state that he shouldn't have died, he should have stayed, and they should have continued his stay of execution. I want to know why. I seriously would love anybody that disagrees with me right now, and you, Ronnie. Mm-hmm. If I could have them call in, even just theoretically, hypothetically, call in and give me one good reason as to why the execution was not necessary. I want to know why that's the case, why you feel that's the case, because it makes no sense to me, regardless of whether it's a Mexican, a French person, somebody from China, somebody from America. If they do something like this, they should die. That's right. The way it is. That's how I feel about it. Don't commit these crimes. He
received a fair trial.
Right.
I even viewed the transcripts of the trial, and what he'd done to this girl was utterly unbelievable and heinous as to what he'd done to her when she was alive and what he'd done to her after she died.
Right.
So for them to state that all of a sudden, she no longer exists, that she no longer plays a role. She's a victim in this. She didn't I didn't see anybody standing up for her rights.
Right.
I didn't see her getting to be able to make that phone call to her consulate here in the United States. I didn't hear her get a chance to say goodbye to any of her families. I don't believe she was even put before trial of her jury of her peers that said that she deserved to die. He received all of these. She didn't receive anything. And it really infuriates me when people take the side of the criminal. Oh, poor him. Oh, my gosh. That is so wrong. Look how much people wanted to go after Casey Anthony and put her on death row and kill her. And this guy, we know what he done. It was cruel and heinous and unjust. And now they want to let it. They would rather have him go free than anybody else? Come on.
I mean, poor 16-year-old Adria, her name was. And it's ridiculous. It really is that he lasted on this earth as long as he did. Back in 1994, this was committed.
Yeah.
In the last statement, Leal apologized to the victim's family and asked for their forgiveness. He stated, quote, "I am truly sorry. That is all." You know, it's good riddance. Good riddance.
Yeah.
Make me sick to my gosh darn stomach. All right. I did want to get that out. Ronnie did bring that up, though. We did talk about that just this past episode. I believe this was in Ronnie's Stamp of Reparation.
Yeah.
She talked about how could we stay in execution of this guy just because we have to worry about consul, something like international issues and so forth.
Yeah.
People that are caught in other countries and not given fair trials and so forth. Well, if you're a criminal, and you did what this individual had done, you deserve to die, and that's that. That's that. Don't commit murder and rape. Come on, rape and murder. Yeah. It's just come on now. But yeah, I did want to get into that because Ronnie did talk about that back on the last episode of Take Two. And if you want to check that episode out, go to beyondthenet.com. You can check all of the podcasts out right at the website. All right. I also want to get into this here. Hey, Ronnie, listen, we're going to take a little turn over to a brighter topic, a brighter item here, rather than just talking about death and killing and this and murder and rape. We're going to talk about this here, waiting in line for things. Listen, talk about a major ADD moment here. Yeah. But you think about some of the things you've waited in line for in your life. You think of some of the things people wait in line for in their lives. This is actually this is going to be a fun item to talk about because it just goes to show you how many things in life we're willing to sacrifice our time for. Seriously. Tickets, CDs, to meet somebody, to visit places of emphasis, etc., etc. You'd really be surprised how many people will wait in line, whether it's for a Harry Potter movie, which happens to be a very popular thing these days. Justin Bieber seems to draw crowds no matter where he goes. If he's going somewhere, there's more than likely going to be a line. But for in a more serious case, tickets, in other words, very, very, very used to be more so back then than now. I'd say now it's more along the lines of trying to get a good seat. If you're, say, in the pit of a concert, you have to get there first come, first serve. In other words, and more than likely it's going to be a lottery system, so people get there as early as they can so they could get to the front. But what are some of the things that you've waited for in your life? Just anticipated, waited for, in line for, that is. Ronnie?
Just recently, I had to renew my driver's license. Do you know how long I had to stand in line for that? Because I missed the email deadline.
Right.
There was at least, oh my gosh, I don't know how many lines it was. Now, I could have done it online, but I missed the deadline by not actually reading my mail. Mm-hmm. So, stupid me. And apparently, another 100 and some plus people did the same thing. So we could have all done it online. Instead, we waited to the last minute and had to do it in person. So you're waiting 3 hours in line for that one thing, a picture.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you have to wait in line for a driver's license, Ronnie. So, you know what I mean? You have to.
Well, you don't have. You can do it online. You don't have to do it.
Well, more than likely, you go to DMV and you wait in line and you have your picture taken, you have your license given to you, and that's that. You know, you have to have your in order to get your license, you have to wait in line at the DMV. So, with that, in other words, talking about things in life that we may in terms of enjoyment, going someplace, anticipating something, what are you going to wait in line for? For instance, you're at a stadium, you're at a concert, or you're at a sporting event, for instance. It's hot, 98 degrees, humid, hazy hot and humid, but a bottle of water is $6.50. Mm-hmm. People wait in line to spend $6.50. They'll wait 30 minutes, miss part of the game to get that drink of water. That drink of water is number one on their mind, or that beer, or that soda, whatever. If that, you'd be surprised how long of the lines that there are at these sporting events, at these concerts. I remember going to a Bon Jovi concert, and I was so thirsty. I'm a diehard Bon Jovi fan. I needed something to drink. I was dying out there. I went up, and the line was literally a mile long. I couldn't believe how long it was. I think I stood in the line for 40 minutes because I needed to drink. I had to. And it's not only that, I'm not getting it for free, but I have to pay $6.50 for the bottle of water. So things that we may need, and this is in terms of enjoyment because you're at a concert or at a sporting event, but if you're hungry, it's just like anything else. You're anticipating a good meal, you'll wait for it. You want a drink of water, that's the first thing on your mind. You want it. You're going to go buy it. That's the way it is. They know they're going to make money off of you because you are thirsty. It's like they could they flip a switch and it's hazy, hot, and humid. They know they're going to get good business. Or they pray before they go to work that day. They're like, please, let there be hazy, hot, and humid weather out there. That's just human nature right there. It really is.
Yeah, I remember when the Timberwolf roller coaster first came out here. I stood in line we waited at the gate the night before, waited for the gates to open just so we could get on this one particular new roller coaster at the park.
Right.
And then when we got there, they couldn't run it because it hadn't been fully inspected. So we were just that was all blown. We still had fun, but still we waited almost a little over 6 hours.
You know, it's interesting that you bring that up because you go to an amusement park, whether it's Six Flags or something, and you'll wait 2 hours to get on a ride. That's not out of the ordinary.
Go through that herd.
Right. I remember when El Toro at Six Flags in Jackson, New Jersey, opened up, and I calculated the amount of time. It wasn't the record. I don't know what the record is in Six Flags. It's longer than this, though. But we clocked it because there was a DJ, 2 DJs playing music. That's how long the line was while we were waiting. They had the fans with the mist because it was hot. 4 hours, 12 minutes I waited in line to get on El Toro. 4 hours and 12 minutes to get on that ride.
On anything else.
What's up?
We could have been on any other ride.
Well, Ronnie, the thing is, this ride had just opened. It just opened. It was very new. So I wanted to experience it firsthand. It's just like King Dakar, the other one. I waited, I think, 2 hours and 20 minutes to get on that ride. If you're gonna go to Six Flags and you're going to get on the popular rides, be prepared to wait hours if you want to go on those rides. That's the way it is. It's just they can only fit so many people on at one time on the ride, so you're gonna have to wait. Some rides will will go quicker. They can fit more people, and some of them are quicker, and it depends how fast the ride goes or how slow it goes. But these are some of the things we wait in line for. Yeah, we went into tickets. We went into drinks, food. We went into rides and so forth. But how about movies? This is another thing, and it's still popular to this day, even though people, even movie tickets may be high. People may not be going to the movies in droves as much as they did, say, 10 years ago. But for popular movies, the big blockbusters, such as Twilight or Transformers, when they have midnight releases, people will wait in line to see that movie. They'll dress up as Optimus Prime. If you're watching Twilight, you'll have a lot of people dressed up as Bella. You'll have a lot of people dressed up as Edward Cullen. And they'll wait in line to go see these movies. They will. It's kind of the experience. It's not that they want to necessarily get a front row seat. because everybody that's in line is going to get to see it, and nobody wants to sit in the front anyway at a movie theater. It's really to enjoy the experience with everybody else. That's what it is. You're going and you're enjoying yourself with with other fans. It's the interaction. It's the fun. It's the fun factor of it, really.
Yeah, it is. I have not actually done that because I could not sit there the whole night before. I remember watching just a few weeks ago, or maybe 2 months ago, when they had all these people sending out for one movie premiere that was coming up because they had gotten tickets from the radio station. That place was packed. They had their backpacks sitting on the floor eating, and the movie was not even expected to open until midnight 01, of course. They were out there by the time I got there, like 5 o'clock in the afternoon for one seat. But what about those that actually waited in line, camped 3 days ahead of time for what? The royal wedding? To get that one shot, that one look at the royal couple.
Right, but stuff like that, in other words, all right, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Just like Central Park Bon Jovi for me. I went to that event. I went there. I wasn't going to miss it. God knows you knew I wasn't going to miss that for the world. And in order to go, you had to get a ticket. You had to get a ticket. It was a free concert, but you still had to have a ticket. So there were dispensaries, or in other words, places that were handing out free tickets. I went to Yankee Stadium with my father, and we waited 7 hours. We got there at 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning, and we waited for 6-7 hours to get our tickets because we wanted to see the concert so bad. And well, I went to go see it. I went with my sister, her friend, and my friend. And I waited in line for that because that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. No, not necessarily a one-time experience to see Bon Jovi because he plays all over. But it was a one-time experience, a once-in-a-lifetime experience at Central Park. I mean, come on now. That's a moment that you don't want to miss if you're a diehard Bon Jovi fan, right? Just like anybody else. So that wedding is a once in a lifetime experience right there for people that went to see when Will and Kate get married. They wanted to go to the place. People still go to the place to see where they got married, and there are lines to get in because people want to see it.
I would rather just watch it on TV. It's much cooler, less people.
But
I remember.
Oh, you're boring.
I'm pretty sure you've done the same thing. How long did we stand in line to go see Santa Claus?
True. Well, if you're a kid, that's definitely something that you're looking forward to.
And the parents have to stand there with them.
See, kid going to see Santa Claus, would be comparable to an adult wanting to go see, a Bon Jovi at Central Park because it's a thing that you're looking forward to. It's something you're anticipating, something that you would not want to miss. It's a once in a life. For some people, you might only get one chance to do that because you're a kid. And once you reach a certain age, you're not going to go sit on Santa's lap anymore. So it depends how many times you go see him. But it's the same feeling as that. That's what I'd meant to say. But just things that you wait for in life. For instance, to go see your favorite actor or actress who's in town. You want a signature from him or her, right? Obviously. You're going to go, but more than likely you're going to wait in line for some time. You're going to wait in line because you want that signature, right? I mean, you wouldn't wait in line for you wouldn't wait in line to get a signature from just an ordinary person, but you would wait in line to get a signature from somebody that you do look up to. So, and just things that you wait in line for, that this is our life here. We have plenty of other things to do, work, school, rather than waiting in line for things. Yet we do it anyway because we want to experience the thrill of getting that signature or drinking that water at a hot, in a concert and during a hot day, or getting tickets to that free concert at Central Park, or waiting to get on the ride that just opened up at Six Flags. Just a bunch of other things. Going to see that new movie that's being released at midnight. Just so many things that we wait in line for. We anticipate, we enjoy, and it's life. It really is. It's life, and we do it because we enjoy it. We enjoy what we're going for, in other words, and we have no problem. No, maybe if we had the choice to not stand in line versus stand in line, but still get to that signature or get that water or get those tickets, you'd probably choose the latter, I would think, yeah. But you're doing it for the whomever you're doing it for, whether it's the artist or the musician, you know, or the actor or the writer or whatever, yourself. So you just you take it with a grain of salt. All right, we're going to move into the associations part of the show. That's right, on this 296th. That is right, episode number 296 of Take Two right here on the Voices on the Net Network. As we continue, Ronnie and I continue the countdown to the 300th episode show. But before we do that, we'd like to take the time to thank our sponsor. That's right, this portion of the 296th episode of Take Two is brought to you by Audible.com. And we thank Audible for their support of the Take Two program, as well as the Voices on the Net Network. Yeah. Now listen up, ladies and gentlemen, because Ronnie and I have an awesome deal for each and every one of you, and you don't even have to spend a single dime. You don't. Over 85,000 audiobooks to choose from at Audible. And we're going to give you one free audiobook and a 14-day, a 2-week free trial to browse that amazing selection of audiobooks that Audible has to offer. All you need to do to take advantage of this great offer is go to audibletrial.com/take2. That's right, audibletrial.com/take2 to take advantage of this. You'll be glad you did. Believe me, Ronnie and I are both subscribers. We enjoy the auditory experience. Not saying we don't enjoy picking up a paperback book every now and then, or a magazine, or reading an article, word for word traditionally. But we enjoy, plopping down on the couch with our headphones on and listening to our books every now and then. So check it out, audibletrial.com/take2 to take advantage of your free audiobook and your 14-day free trial. As always, we thank Audible for their generous support of the Take Two program, as well as the Voices on the Net network. No waiting involved. All right, Ronnie, you want to start us off with an association over there? I know you've got a couple, including, a law. I'm sure you have a funny law for us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
The number of days that someone spends in entry-level boot camp level, that includes your boot camp time, that includes your AIT time, totals out to be 296 days. That equates to 90 days initial basic training, 190 days AIT, plus 16 days in process, and reception station, which is a total of 296 days entry-level position into the military.
Wow. So this is all training related. You're going to wait. That's the time it takes before you're actually a soldier?
Before you're actually a soldier. You are in boot camp. This is for the time that your boots meet whatever fort that you happen to go to for training.
Okay.
Until the time that you will leave that fort. It's 296 days.
So, in other words, a lot of dedication and a lot of
sweat, a lot of pain, a lot of being gay.
Hey, you know what? They want you to be conditioned to be able to take the punishment that being a soldier demands. People think they see the movies, they see the TV shows, their favorite TV shows, that has to do with a military scenario, and they think it's so easy. They have the honor. Everybody looks up to them, but it's not easy. That's the thing. It's not. And I mean, I've never been in the military. You have, so you would know. I know based on what people have told me, what you've told me, and but there's a lot of dedication needed. There's a lot of you need to put your focus on what you're setting your eyes on, your goals on, and you're serving your country. You're serving the country you love. So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of front lean and rest positions that you are significantly going to be in a lot of pain for 296 days. I'll tell you that.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. When I tried out for the basketball team in high school, I was dead. So I could only imagine what the military will do to you.
Yeah, I learned not to talk back.
Yeah,
I was a professional on push-ups.
I think that would probably. Yeah, I think what you'd have to go through if you talked back to your superior, I think you would definitely restrict yourself from talking back in the future, because you don't want to go through the pain of what you have to go through if you do talk back, right?
Never respond with "what the," because you are going down.
Yeah, absolutely. But I've got an association for you here, and this comes out of Seattle, Washington here. And we know Seattle is not, you're not going to go to Seattle to get a tan. Put it that way. You're not. It's just, it's very dreary. It's cool. That's just the way it is over in Seattle. Over in Washington, but mainly in Seattle, you know, it rains a lot over there. Mm-hmm. But to go this many days without hitting a 180-degree day or more, I can only imagine. I mean, I'd go crazy. I would go crazy because 80 degrees is very comfortable. Then again, they've hit quite a bit of 70, 75, 76, 77, which is comfortable. But an 80-degree, 85-degree day is comfortable with no humidity. They went, get this, 296 days without hitting an 80-degree plus day. 296 days. You want to know what the top 5 are here? I'll give you the top 5. Number 5, 296 days from September 3rd, 2010 to the present. And number 4, we've got 297 days from September 11th, 1953 to July 5th, 1954. Number 3, 310 days. Well, actually, this is a tie for second. 310 days from August 1st, 1954 to June 7th, 1955. The next one, 310 days, September 14th, 1979 to July 20th, 1980. And number 1, 319 days without hitting an 80-degree plus day from August 8th, 1959 to June 22nd, 1960. The 296-day streak is the 5th longest, of course, in Seattle. And, well, if they can edge one more day, they will be in 4th place, which I think it's safe to say they will, if I could look into the future.
I would be so bummed. I have to have my upper 80-degree weather just to get warmed up, 90-degree weather, but less than 80 for all that time?
That's amazing. That is
I want
amazing.
some sun.
That's amazing. 296 days without hitting 80 degrees. That is really, 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 really crazy. It's amazing to hear that because in New Jersey, we're not used to that. We get plenty of 80-plus degree days here in the summertime. Heck, even in the fall, we'll get an 80-plus degree day quite a bit. So, all right, what about a funny law? Do you got one over there for us, Ronnie?
Yes, Harper Woods, Michigan. It actually is a penal code, 750-296, that it is illegal to paint a sparrow and then later sell them as a parakeet.
A sparrow, but sell it as a parakeet. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you're going to paint a sparrow to sell it as a parakeet.
Now,
you can tell them apart, even with the paint on them.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's the, what is the relation between a sparrow and a parakeet? I mean, it's like, could you tell the difference between the two quite easy? I mean, I could see certain birds that might be very, similar in size and how they look. But aren't the two, parakeet and sparrow, quite different?
Yeah.
Just saying. I mean,
it's a good paint job.
Yeah, I would think. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Ronnie, for your funny law. We could always look forward to what you have to tell us. But we do have to move into your stamp of reparation. That's right. Ronnie features our stamp of reparation we feature Ronnie's stamp of reparation during this time. Ronnie talks about something that she wants to talk about in terms of her being angry at or against or so forth. We always look forward to what she has to say. So, Ronnie, you have the mic. This is Ronnie's stamp of reparation.
This must be one super PTA because, around here, I don't know about how much the PTA brings in, but I know they have the bake sales, they have little carnivals, face painting stuff going on, book sales, and can maybe make $5,000-$6,000 for the entire year. But in California, they really souped this one up, and this is in California. Now, note, this is just it blows my mind. The PTA, 3 women joined up. A 41-year-old, 50-year-old, and 51-year-old joined up and decided, I guess, the PTA was the way to go to make money. If you don't want to do anything, I guess, you don't want to have to work, you go and you scam people. You know how I feel about scammers. I think there's a place, where, for these kind of people. They made $14 million for the PTA, but get this, they pocketed $4 million and resurfaced the red in a possible Ponzi scheme. I say possible because they have not gone to, quote, court to be charged. They actually took this, stating that they knew Disney. They worked with Disney. It was a dairy farm. And got these people, believe it or not, to donate their money for this particular, quote, cause for the school. $14 million. Right. How much money do these people have? I was watching some of the videos, and I don't know who had that type of money. But $14 million, and then to pocket $4 million of it to go on trips and so forth and reinvest. I wanted to know, what did they put in their brownies that we obviously are not putting into ours? There is no way that you're going to come across that, and no one, the principal, the dean, superintendent, nobody looked into this case to begin with. You don't think that someone coming into a school project offers you a sweet, sweet deal, and $14 million is invested in it within a school district, and nobody checks it out to see if it's real, or if it's even modified, if these women are true to who they are. One of these women have no children in the school system. Matter of fact, she has no children, period.
That's creepy.
But was in the PTA.
That's a creep. That just sounds creepy. No kids in the school, and she's involved in a school.
Is it a clue?
That's a little odd.
Just a clue. They were actually charged now. They were going to face 20 years. I think they'll be facing a lot more than that once these charges actually start developing and the prosecution gets the case going. So right now, they are facing 20 years, but more likely, I'm looking at probably 35 to 40 years. Two have a previous record. One was in jail by the time that they caught up with these women. So we will see how far this goes. But still, make sure you know what's in your brownies before you put them out there, because apparently these three women have a pretty good sweet deal going on. But this has gone all over the West Coast, all the way up to Utah. These three women.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Google their names before you join a Ponzi.
Well, the thing is, people will invest in anything as long as as long as it looks engaging. It seems engaging. They know that they're going to make money off of it. Unfortunately, many of the things, some, not many, but some of the things people invest in, it's kind of unethical. They're doing it. They're doing it the wrong way. They're making lots of money, but they're not doing it ethically. There are just certain ways to make money, and there's certain ways that you shouldn't make money.
Yes.
You can live with yourself, and you want to risk looking over your shoulder every single day, because if you get caught, you're going to get in trouble.
With these guys, however, I looked up this particular area. It's Diamond Bar, California. The average person in this particular area makes anywhere from $45,000 to $65,000 a year. So where do you get $14 million?
Well, quite a bit of money from the scheme, that's for sure. But they did it in an unethical way here. But yeah. So
watch what you're drinking and watch what you're eating at your next PATM meeting.
Yeah. Thank you, Ronnie, for your stamp of reparation. Always appreciate it. We do have to head to the break on this 296th episode of the show. What are we going to be going into, Ronnie and I? Well, we're going to be featuring Ronnie's movie report, of course, but we're also going to be talking about this here. An interesting study. We've talked about this before on the show. In this recession, as per past studies, we found out that women are obtaining jobs at a faster clip than men. However, the case is kind shifted here in this case, and in female-dominated workplaces too, as a matter of fact, that men are finding jobs at a faster clip than women now, which is interesting. Why is this? Why is this the case? Well, we'll hear what Ronnie has to say here. I'm going to add my point of view to this. So we'll go into this study surrounding this. Also, of course, Ronnie's movie report and the blast from the past. So quite a bit coming up on this 296th episode of the show. You don't want to go anywhere, folks. Ronnie and I will return right after the break, so stay tuned. And we're back. That's right. Ronnie and I have returned from the break to provide you content, chatter, discussion, debate, you name it. It's all here on the second segment, during the second segment of this 296th episode of the show. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, Ronnie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You too.
Thank you. We do have quite a bit to go into, so let's not waste any time doing that. I do have to plug the network, though, so let's do that right now. If all of you tuned in right now would be so kind as the great listeners, please visit www.vonthenet.com. That's right, the Voices on the Net Network's website, where you, the listeners, will be able to find more information regarding the Voices on the Net Network. Yeah, that's right, all you need to do is go up to the top of the website, where you'll see the About link. You click it, and it will take you to a web page that will provide you everything you need to know pertaining to the Voices on the Net Network, and in thorough detail. It's really a great guide for those of you that are new to the network. Rather than Ronnie and or I explaining it to you, that page will be your guide. You could also check out podcasts of any of the episodes from any of the shows, and they're also on demand for your convenience, at your convenience. They're all there for you. If you want to go back in time and check out any of the past episodes, you could also check out my blog, articles. It's all at www.vonthenet.com. All right, so we've got a study here that goes into... now, this is something that, as we know, in the past, and we are currently in a recession, that even in this recession, women had been gaining jobs quicker than men. Now, we talk about this. See, those of you that are diehard fans of the show, those of you that listen regularly, you'll know that many of the things we talk about are connected to other things we talk about. So, listening to every single show, you'll get, they're talking about this, but if I connect it to something else they talked about involving this, I can now put two and two together. It makes sense. Well, we've talked about how looks matter a lot in the the workplace. And if you're a manager and you're, for instance, the manager of a retail sales store, you want somebody that's good looking on the floor because they attract the customers. In this case, why not a nice, gorgeous woman, female? So a lot of these different factors, that's one out of many. I'm going to hear what Ronnie has to say about this. One of many factors that goes into that. However, that's not the case this time around. As a Pew study, a new Pew Research survey, states that men have gained 768,000 jobs and lowered their unemployment rate by 1.1 percentage points to 9.5% from June 2009 to May 2011. But women actually lost 218,000 jobs during the same period, and they increased their unemployment rate by 0.2 percentage points to 8.5%. So this is interesting that men are outpacing women in finding jobs, but more so it's interesting to note that they're outpacing them in sectors that are historically female-dominated, which is quite surprising too. Seeing that I just went in before, wouldn't you want some sexy female on the floor at a retail store? So I want to hear your take on this study and why the shift in this. Now, clearly it fluctuates, we know that, but we're in a recession here, and note that they're doing, men are outpacing women now in female-dominated workplaces too.
Well, number one thing that I notice, especially with the unemployment rates, is that they don't include those that just do not qualify for that again. So those numbers are probably a lot higher than what we think. But you take the medical industry, for instance, a lot more men now are entering into that field because it's advertised that this field is a wide open expanse. Nurses are always needed. They are to an extent, but now there's an overflux of that. And I think with the recession that we're going through right now, because men are the head of the household, that people have to buckle down. So if you're talking about, let's just say, a married couple, that the male loses his job, who's usually the number one breadwinner in the home, right. And the female is either has a secondary job or a part-time job to supplement that income. But with a recession, women can't afford the daycare anymore, especially if you're talking about a family in that daycare setting. Daycare can cost you anywhere from $200 to $500 to $800 in some instances for childcare that usually you're just now, if the male isn't working, the female's working, her entire paycheck's going to that. No one's making out. The males are now dominating the medical industry. They're going into the more tech areas, which is quite common because it used to be more female dominant until the females, I think, have taken that role more down to the caregiving stance. But back to the husband and wife role, the wife stays home now, take care of the kids, save that money. The husband goes to work, and these are the positions that are open. There's wide, especially here at College of St. Mary's, which is a Catholic school, nursing school here. That's for the females. They now have not for the St. Mary's, but equivalency to that, to where it's male dominated for the nursing students. Because when I was in, we had 3 males versus 40 females. That number has greatly changed. I mean, we're not going to see a class with just 3 males and the rest of that anymore. You're seeing more of the tech issues coming into play into the nursing field, and more males in the military, believe it or not, are medical qualified. So they leave the medical industry, they leave the military, go into the public sector, and then they're in the public arena because they have that experience. They're trained across the board in all areas of nursing.
Right, and it's interesting that you bring the fact that the women are staying home, taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, while the males work. In a recession, you would think, and it's interesting because you would think that both would want to work because of the recession. You would want to get as much money in as you can, as much money as you can make. However, somebody does have to take care of the kids, somebody has to take care of the house and so forth. The thing is, and there are some theories that you could go into here, that males during the recession tend to perhaps lose more jobs than females, so they're going to gain the jobs quicker when the time comes, which could also play a role in the switching of it, the shifting of males outpacing females in the job force, obtaining jobs, and in many cases getting their jobs back. Managers out there that fire their employees because because there's a recession, not necessarily because they want to, because they can't afford to pay them. And if they were to simply offer an ultimatum to these employees, we can keep you on the payroll here, but you're going to have to cut your salary in half. Nobody's going to do that. This is regardless of whether you feel you're worth a specific amount of money, nobody's worth half of that amount. And 2, going into that, you still need to live, and you still are going to have to do the amount of work you do for whatever it is you're getting paid. Mm-hmm. They're not going to cut what you have to do at that job in half because you're making half of that salary. Manager's offering you an ultimatum because he can't afford to pay you. The first item on his agenda was firing people because he had to. He did not have the money to pay them. So, A, you can keep your job if you work for half the salary, but you have to do the same amount of work, or B, you have to leave because we can't afford to pay you.
Right. I think, though, that you also think about the types of jobs that were open if you go back 6 years. The types of jobs that the men carried at that time, construction, building, anything that into that type of an industry, that textile type industry. Then all of a sudden, here comes the recession, and we were going big time. Companies were not receiving the contracts that they were receiving. Men were losing their jobs because, women really are not in the textile industry. They're more in the hands-on healthcare, retail type end of it. Those are the number one jobs that were, if you watched, were being lost. They were literally cut back. Businesses closed. Construction was not on target anymore. Contracts were lost. Men lost their jobs. And now the number one jobs that are coming back into the industry are those types of jobs. Again, they are not, of course, female dominated by any means. But though, if you look at the unemployment rates, the reason why these unemployment rates are now all of a sudden dropping, these businesses are coming back into play now because, look, it's that type of year that usually construction is seasonal,
right?
Are coming back into that type of industry. But they also have held part-time jobs before these jobs come up because what were they mostly? They were unionized. They were not allowed to get certain types of jobs equivalent to that type of industry. They'd have to go outside of that industry into, of course, the female-dominated industry. And I think that's why we're seeing a shift, not so much as because they're hiring more men because, they want to or whatever, but it's more of a shift because the recession caused the loss of jobs, forced a shove into the dominated female role, that maybe we're not quite getting to why the numbers are so shifting. But I think that the seasonal jobs of construction, textile working is now coming back. We might just see that shift return to normal, probably within at least a year, I would think.
Right. It's just common knowledge to bring that up because, when you lose more jobs, if a group of people lose more jobs, clearly if they're going to make more jobs, there's going to be more people in that category that are going to receive their jobs back. That's basic mathematics to be able to come up with that result. That it talks about, that the Pew report goes into really the gist of this. We'll go into some of this here. In 4 of the 6 major recoveries since 1970, let's go into this here, women have bounced back better than men. So what's different this time? One factor appears to be simply that large numbers of men had lost their jobs in the recession, which we just talked about. Thus, more men are looking for work and more are getting hired. Now, it also appears that men have become more flexible about the kinds of jobs they're willing to take. Now, I want to go into that there. Flexibility, not really having much of a choice. If you're the breadwinner in your home and there's a job out there, yet you despise it, you're going to more than likely go and work there because you need the money. You're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and you know how I feel. You should be passionate about what you do, and you feel, why should I work at a place I don't enjoy working at? Why? I want to do something that I enjoy doing. And in a perfect world, that would be the way it should be. You would work you would work at a place that you enjoy. But unfortunately, this is not a perfect world, and sometimes you have to weigh the options, because while you may despise going to work at a place you can't stand, think about what you're gaining from that experience. Think about what you're gaining from that work experience. You hate going to work, yet you're gaining skills at that job that may help you down the line when you do get a job you do enjoy going to. So You're taking what you're getting from that job, the one you despise. You're also making money in a time where there are a lot of people not making money. And you're gaining skills that will benefit you in the long run. So flexibility also plays a major role, too. And managers know that. Managers know they have in their back pocket a wide variety of possible employees. They do. They know that, and they know that they could get them for a cheaper price than if we weren't in a recession. And now more than ever, based on these studies that are coming out, they know that they can hire people that are willing to work for flexible rates because they don't have a choice.
So it's true, but I think also management is looking at the other potential, because usually what was in the job market, because you're seeing a switch, even in age, as the types of jobs that are out there. I mean, go to your local restaurant and see who's working there. Or, go to a fast food chain when it's usually teenage dominated at this time. It's now becoming more adult dominated than it was in past times. But what also you can consider is the fact that they're looking for personal growth, personal development. They want people that are experienced adults. They don't want to waste their time anymore hiring those that just are, maybe you're just starting out. They're singling more out towards those that already have the experience than others. As I know that around here, when I've noticed a big shift in the age majority, because you're finding more, let's just go to Walmart, for instance. Usually it was either 50s and above, or you had anywhere from maybe the 19 to 25-year-olds because they could get in there. That was a beginning job. They were going to school, so it was supplementing their income. Now you're seeing more family people in between the ages of 25 and 45 that are working there versus what it used to be. Now it's becoming more, instead of going in there and seeing a female cashier, it's a male cashier than it is the female role. But I'm not sure if it has to do with actually the gender, or are we just actually talking about the types of jobs that are available? Because whatever is there, people, you can have one job and you might have, 600-700 people coming in for that one position. Maybe they're just that one guy.
Yeah, but I do want to target that. I do want to target that, what you just said. because the type of job, and we go into, equality, in other words, male and female equality, because what about the type of job? Why should one job focus on one specific group over another specific group? Because it obviously that's the case. We know that, more men are going to work construction, and there are going to be certain jobs that are kind of catered around females. Now, more than likely, you would assume the education industry, teachers, are more than likely going to be female than male. Doesn't necessarily mean males can't be teachers. And just because more males are construction workers doesn't necessarily mean females cannot be, construction workers. There's more to construction than just big muscles and hard work. There's using your mind, too. You have to know mathematics. You have to use your mind when you're working construction. And there are females that do work construction. So I don't think it's necessarily that. I mean, maybe it plays a little bit of a role, but I think it is more than likely the fact that there's flexibility. The amount of jobs that were lost in this recession happen to be, if we were to weight it, more along the side of the male category than the female category. More males lost their jobs. So now it's going to be clear to us that more males are going to gain their jobs back or get jobs because of that. That's just common knowledge. That's how I look at it. I'm not necessarily shooting down what you said, because it does make sense, because clearly, the type of job, even though, we would like equality to be the case, there are certain jobs that just cater to, males, and there's certain jobs that cater to females. That's the way that is.
That's how I've always seen it when I've gone out into the job industry. It's always been, of course, the areas I choose always seem to be male dominated. Maybe I'm just want to champion something or challenge myself. I think it's a big issue. I think you bring up some great points as to why this is a big shift. But if you have a mass, males have lost a lot of jobs. Of course, there's going to be a lot of males now entering into the force versus what they were. Because, when you're in construction, or in these types of professional fields that require years of training, years of development, and there's not really a high turnover rate in those areas. Now all of a sudden you're seeing that high turnover rate, that jobs are being lost. If you're going to lose a lot of the people, of course, those same people, in this instance, males, are going to be influxing into the system. So you're going to see a higher male dominated, higher males being hired. I don't think there's anything other than those significant issues that are actually presented in this issue. I don't think there's a big major, what's going on? The men are taking over the women's world. I don't think that's it at all. It's just the fact that let's just say you have tons of men coming out of the workforce. There's going to be tons of men going into the workforce. Yeah. Same as the females. But females, I don't think there's a high enough turnaround rate in the nursing industry as it is for the female population.
Right. And it's also, we should look at this, it's perceptible to understand that while there are gains in the male side of it, there are males gaining jobs. Overall, we're still down quite a bit. There are still a lot of people without jobs. A ton of people without jobs. That while we may see 750,000 males gaining a job, but there's 2, 3, 4 million out there that don't have a job. So there are millions out there that don't have the jobs. So is that really a gain technically, where we're still way below that line? Or you just take, baby steps until we do get to that balance, until people are gaining jobs and there are no unemployment, serious unemployment problems. But we're in a recession right now, and times are difficult, and flexibility does play quite a role, as I stated, before. It really does. I do want to know, that was based off of the article here. I'm reading parts of it, and then we're adding our points per point. We went into the first two factors. Number one being that it appears to simply be that large numbers of men lost their jobs in the recession. Thus, men are obviously more men are going to be looking for work, and then more are going to get hired. And then the second factor also appears that men have become more flexible about the kinds of jobs they're willing to take. And it just so happens that many of them, or some of them at least, are female dominated. 3, men who were in more male-centered jobs like construction and manufacturing, which were really hurt by the recession, and who might, in other words, never have considered working in something like retail or healthcare, seem to be more willing than before. We go back to flexibility, and Ronnie also went into the type of job also plays a major role. However, I feel personally that it's less that, more the fact that more males were fired or they lost their jobs, and now they're catching up. Whereas, in other words, females may be focusing on tending at home, the kids, they're taking care of the home, that it will shift in a direction where you'll notice an increase, in females, where it will go back and forth. It will vary back and forth, every few months or every, 6 months or so forth. So I think that's really the case. I think obviously they all play some, of a role, but there obviously have to be certain factors that play more of a role than others. And there is one major role that has to play, the main role. And that, I think, is the fact that males lost more jobs, say even over the last 8 to 10 months, over the last year even. And they're gaining them back now. And the flexibility added to that, compounded with that, well, forget it. That's why. Then that's your answer there. And that's, without even looking at exact numbers, that's good enough evidence to show that that's the case, if it were males or females for that matter.
Yeah, plus a lot of the jobs that were male-dominated, if you noticed, were all outsourced. So basically the union organizations have dropped big time in these areas to where they're not given a chance to determine what kind of job they want. Some unions even punish their members for getting a job outside of that particular industry. So I think that a lot of people are actually turning away from those types of unionized restrictions and going into different fields altogether. Absolutely.
No, I'm glad we went into this. This was something that I had found at the last minute before the show, added it to the itinerary, and it was an interesting study that, we enjoy going into studies on this show, and we hope you enjoyed it. We do have to add into Ronnie's movie report. That's right. Ronnie goes to see a movie every week, and then we feature Ronnie talking about it, what she thought. She'll give a rating and so forth. So we're going to get into that in just a moment. But beforehand, Ronnie and I would like to take this time to thank our sponsor. That is right. This portion of the 296th episode of Take Two is brought to you by Audible.com. And Ronnie and I and everybody, of course, thank Audible for their generous support of the Take Two program, as well as the Voices on the Net network. Now listen up, ladies and gentlemen, because Ronnie and I have an awesome deal for each and every one of you, and you don't have to spend a single cent. That's right. We'll give you one free audiobook and a 14-day, a 2-week free trial to browse over 85,000 audiobooks at Audible. That's over 85,000 and counting. Audible's always adding great new audiobooks to their service. Really, the premier service on the web. Nobody's even come close to competing with them because they are that great. Well, to take advantage of your free audiobook and your 14-day free trial, all you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/take2. That is right, audibletrial.com/take2 to take advantage of this brilliant offer. Because the thing is, even if you're not an Audible or an avid reader, say you don't enjoy picking up a book or picking up a magazine or picking up a newspaper or reading, an article or many online, you enjoy watching or listening to your media. You enjoy watching TV shows, say you enjoy watching movies, you enjoy listening to radio shows, podcasts, music. You enjoy the auditory experience rather than the visual experience. Don't necessarily shoot the visual one down, but the auditory experience is one to at least try out if you haven't already, because the voiceover artists behind the audiobooks, and as a voiceover artist myself, I can tell you I love engaging somebody that is listening to what I have to say. I love knowing that when I'm voicing a project, when I'm voicing it, I know I'm going to catch your ear. I'm going to catch your ear. Just how I talk, how I stretch certain words out. It plays a major role. And that's what Audible's all about, the auditory experience of an audiobook. It's really cool. Check it out at audibletrial.com/take2. One free audiobook and a 14-day free trial. You will be glad you did. As always, we thank Audible for their generous support of the Take Two program, as well as the Voices on the Net and network. All right, Ronnie, so what do you say it is time to go into your movie report? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go, folks. Ronnie's movie report.
Get your tickets at
popcorn ready, because it is time to take a break from the critics. It's Ronnie's Movie Report. All right, Ronnie, what did you go to see?
Bad Teacher.
I want to see that so bad.
I was waiting. I could not wait for this one to come out. Finally, I was able to go see it. You might be a little bit disappointed in it. It's, basically what you see on TV. You might just kind of think about it. But it was a great fun moments inside of this movie. It has Cameron Diaz. It had Justin Timberlake. They played off each other as funny. Now, I'm not sure if this is when they were still boyfriend and girlfriend during the movie. That might explain some of the scenes that we were witnessing in the movie. But the movie actually had a $20 million budget and thus far has grossed just a tad over $56 million. So I think they're kind of winding down on how much they're going to make on this movie.
It
wasn't as specific with the movie as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's fun to watch. You laugh through some moments of it, but it's something that you usually see already. The characters really did not connect in this movie, I don't think. And you really didn't see that kind of... Usually see Cameron Diaz and these types of funny, comedic type movies. And she played a great role. And for those that are saying that she's 50 years old and looks rubber, no, she does not. I hope I look that good at 50. Okay. Justin Timberlake, no, I think that's one of his worst films that he has ever made as far as his acting ability. He showed that he was actually just pushing the words out. He wasn't acting the parts. It was almost just kind of a run-of-the-mill script for him, and I was kind of disappointed because usually he puts out the big hunks.
How old did you say? Cameron Diaz is 50? No, she's
this
not.
Is what they're saying is she was 50 years old. She needs to give it up. But no, come on,
she's not 50. She's definitely not.
She
50.
is not. But I was disappointed in Justin Timberlake. I don't think that he put the oomph that he could have in his character. It just did not fit the movie. But it stands out that we have Cameron Diaz, who actually is looking for that sugar daddy. So she does not have to work for a living anymore. But, of course, she has to come back to real earth and have to have a job. Because, of course, her boyfriend that was her sugar daddy decided that she does not have enough sugar for her ever in his lifetime. She has to go back to work. Where does she go? Teaching. And the worst teacher that you could ever find on earth, Cameron plays it out. She has to go through everything as a teacher. And Cameron, I'm telling you, will teach a student the bad, hard ways in a whole new ball game that you've ever been taught. I would hit a ball in my head. She thinks that men out there are only looking for one thing on the female body, and we know what those are. So she's trying to raise the funding to raise enough money to have those bad boys put onto her. About 10 grand she has to come up with. She finds some interesting ways as being a teacher to come up with those items to be applied to her body. So that's basically the synopsis of the story. There really isn't much to it. 90 minutes long, very, very short.
Yeah.
But I was disappointed in Justin Timberlake's actions. I think that overall the movie, maybe about a 6.5.
Yeah.
I think I was overly expectating because I could not wait for it. I watched the previews, could not wait for it to come out. And maybe it was just too much hype for this type of movie.
Yeah.
I really think so.
Right. You were expecting something probably different, maybe, in terms of what you received. You were maybe anticipating something that could have been much better than it was. And I think a lot of people go through that. And with comedies, they're typically shorter anyhow, comedies. They are. So they try to get as much in a shorter period of time than extend the movie out and draw it out. But on IMDb as of right now, it's right over 6 out of 10, 6.1 out of 10, and you gave it a 6.5 out of 10. So thank you for that. And I'd like to check it out, even though it maybe got mixed reviews. I'd like to check it out. I like Cameron Diaz. And I've stated before, I think Justin Timberlake, he is a great actor. I think he's definitely flourished into a good one. He definitely has gotten better. And like I said, there have been mixed reviews. I've read quite a few really great reviews on it too, and of course, based on your review, and your recommendation, I'll check it out. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, it's funny. It has some funny moments that are there. You don't have to look for them; they are there. A little bit of nudity, a little bit of sex going on in there.
Nothing wrong with that.
About everything.
Nothing wrong with that. Hey, a little nudity, a little sex is never hurt anybody.
No,
but yeah, I think bad teacher. All right, we do have to go to the blast from the past. That is right, on this 296th episode of Take Two. Thank you for your movie report. As always, can't wait for the next one. So, but what do you say we head into the past? We take this time machine here, with the listeners, and we head into the past, into a past discussion. Ronnie, you wanna?
I wanna.
All right, here we go, folks. Everybody in for 296, episode 296. This is your blast from the past. Enjoy. What do you say we head into this next?
I love this one.
You love this one, huh?
I love this one.
Gotcha. I'll tell you.
I wish I could have written it.
Well, listen, like I told you before, this guy's a genius.
He is.
He really is. He's a genius. Many people are not going to agree with me. I don't know, maybe not many. Or maybe many. And maybe not many. Maybe some people are going to disagree with me here. Maybe you too. But the fact of the matter here is I think this guy's genius, that you don't necessarily need the trivial resume. Or maybe you do for many companies. If you were to send this to Donald Trump, would he accept this? I don't know. That's the thing. People's perception on trivial resumes, the cut and dry resumes, are maybe too much. Maybe people need to lighten up a bit, because resumes, shouldn't they show more than just your credentials? Should they show your personalities too? Because you're not going to meet the person until you actually meet them, correct? You're not going to talk to them unless you call them, which is probably not going to be the case, because they're going to toss it if they're not interested in meeting you or talking to you.
If it's a boring resume, who wants to meet you? You want to stand out.
Exactly. This guy stands out right here. His name is Eric. And he literally stands out with his resume. Let's go over some of the... First off, let me read to you the resume, and then we're going to dissect it, Ronnie and I, all right? The guy's name is Eric. His objective is to claw my way to the top using any means necessary, but then be a fair and just ruler and bring your company to new heights or whatever. His personal attributes: cat-like reflexes. Now you see me. Meow, you don't. Next, possible ESP. Yeah. He knows when to hold. He knows when to fold. Note, this is what he posted. This is what he typed in his resume here. He emits pleasant aromas. Yeah. Optional, but he has a horse-like laugh. He's extremely proficient in Mario Kart for Super Nintendo. Yeah. He's not bad at sexy dancing. Yeah. He's 29 years old, but he has the facial hair of a 13-year-old. He can eat a lot at one sitting. Oh, also he could moonwalk quite well. Listen, this is look at under this. This is his experience. These are his experiences. I am quite experienced with the McDonald's menu. One time I rode a horse, but it bucked me off. I was injured and ended up gaining like 30 pounds, but then I shed the weight like snakeskin. Very fast metabolism. I have enough knowledge to write an essay on pretty much any subject without researching it in parentheses. He's an acne lancer and also a life coach. And this is his education. He finished high school by the skin of his teeth back in 1999. And he spends most of his time daydreaming out of a window. But if you hire me, things will be different. I swear. So I guess take his word for it. His references: Eric. Who better to tell you about that than, well, him? Mm-hmm. Holla. That's what he stated. That's his resume right there, folks. Eric's resume. Can you say genius right there, Ronnie?
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Hey, there you have it. Your blast from the past. That was back in episode number 251 of Take Two. If you want to check that great episode out, and any of the episodes, Take Two, or any of the shows on the network, you can go to www.theonthenet.com. But yeah, such a great discussion there, and that really was, I'll tell you, a great resume. I will tell you. Just utilizing his personality and implementing that into a resume while still providing the necessary items you need in a resume, I think is genius. I think it is. Now, there are many businesses that would spit at this, but I'm not saying they wouldn't. I'm just saying it's a genius resume, though.
Yeah, professional acne lancer.
There you go. I am quite experienced with the McDonald's menu, and that shows you that clearly you could retain quite a bit. We went into quite a bit of we dissected this quite a bit. We did. We dissected this quite well. Remember, episode number 251, if you want to check it out, vonthenet.com, and listen to it. A very great show, among one of the many. That is all the time we have, though, folks, for this 296th episode of the show, as we continue the countdown to the 300th episode. Only 4 away, folks. Oh, now 3. As we'll be back for the next episode. That's 297 to do it all over for each and every one of you with a new itinerary. What are we going to talk about? Well, Ronnie and I hope you'll take the time out of your schedules to join us. Will you? Will you? We'd love that. We do have to go now. Until next time, much love to you all. Bye-bye, everybody.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.